I'm going to tell you about my life, okay? My life, and this is my life, okay? Introductory statement, are we underrepresented minorities different, okay? Well, growing up in America, we're certainly made to feel different, and we're treated differently with lower expectations. That's going to be my message, okay? In this country, we're treated differently. There's an identity crisis all my life. I was born in the barrios of Los Angeles, and so I'm a product of the United States, okay? There's an identity crisis for underrepresented minorities growing up in the United States, and especially if you're good in science, okay? It doesn't fit, does it? Now, why worry about underrepresentation? Our representation in the population has exploded. That means the Latino, the Hispanic, and yet we're not improving in representation in STEM disciplines, especially on good university faculty. It's an unhealthy situation for the nation. As the population grows, it's a population that doesn't take part in STEM areas, and especially faculty in Tier 1 schools. So how are we doing in education? For good reasons, I'm going to use, and this group should be familiar with this, mathematics, computer science, and electrical engineering. Now this data is from Donna Nelson report. Okay. And it says, look, top 100 departments. Okay. So what percentage of the faculty in the top 100 departments of the country, let's say in mathematics, Black is 1.5%, Hispanic 1.7%, Asian American 17%. Okay? Go back into computer science, it's the same type of data. In electrical engineering, the same data. So that backbone aspect of our country, we're not represented. So we are here as Latinos, but we're not there. Now look, why worry about underrepresentation? Our concern with STEM underrepresentation today does not come from moral or ethical issues like it did in the 60s. Oh, we denied access, we're going to make up for it. It's a really simple matter of nation survival. As such as an issue of numbers of which group suffered, not which group suffered the most. We're not going to argue about whether blacks or browns suffered the most. We're going to say the numbers are critical. Underrepresentation endangers, it doesn't endanger the health of the discipline, it's the health of the nation, economic and scientific health of the nation. I never argue in terms that math is unhealthy in minority and when we're going to save it. Math is not unhealthy. Significant factors in underrepresentation, faulty evaluation by mathematicians and others, the mismatch theory, the role of foreign minorities. So racism yesterday was denied access. Racism yesterday was separate but equal. This country was, there's a great history on that. Today it's lower expectations of minorities. That's what I'm going to consider, and I'm defining racism to be. Lower expectations of minorities, deficient understanding, and misguided corrections. Now, math evaluation, a major obstacle to improving representation. We mathematicians are self-proclaimed gatekeepers of quality, and it happens at every university as the math courses start out, calculus, etc. We, the mathematicians, okay? Now, the key issue here is that underrepresented minorities' worst issue is lower and poor preparation at all levels. So when we get to college, are the mathematicians, they confuse lack of talent with lack of preparation. That's been my success at Rice, is lots of talent. But we don't know how to separate lack of talent with lack of preparation. And we agree that we are underprepared. I mean, I was underprepared out of high school. When I got to UCLA, I said, wow. A quick story. I had 6 students in applied math that I sent to the pure math department to take a functional analysis class. This very legendary, famous person from Princeton. And he didn't have any assignments. No reading assignments, no presentations, no homework, no nothing. So at the end, 1 was minority, the other 5 were white. He gave 5 A's and 1 C. My minority student got a C, and he's brilliant. He's doing a postdoc at NYU. So I went to him and to the president and to everybody, and the best I could get was from the instructor. I try to discourage those that do not belong in mathematics. So by looking at him, he said, you don't belong. So according to at least one Rice mathematician, one of these people do not belong in mathematics. Okay? Okay? So I want to ask you, but that's the legendary David Blackwell. Okay? Probably one of the finest African-American mathematicians of all time. Now, mismatch theory. Saunders Elias, law professor at UCLA, has started this big move called that minorities don't do well in majority schools. Affirmative action is bad. They're placed in positions where they're not prepared for. Send them to minorities schools, and then send majorities to majorities, minorities to minorities. Back to separate but equal. Now the correct solution conclusion, if you wish, we must build support programs so that students that have preparation deficiencies but talent succeed. And that's what I try to do in my programs, okay? Recognize that they have talent, poor preparation. I had poor preparation when I went to UCLA. Indeed. Pedigree is alive and well. You think it's not? Yeah, I'd like to have a degree from Princeton, but I don't. Okay. Top research universities choose faculty from PhDs produced at top research schools. So if you send them to minority-serving institutions, they're not going to be faculty at Stanford. Underrepresented minorities are to be, if we're going to be an effective component, then we must have equitable presence as students and faculty at all research schools. Not just at research schools, but if you look at Cornell, or Michigan, or Princeton, or whatever, or Berkeley, we should be there. Number of degrees, when I was on the National Science Board, this was an issue we used to talk a lot about. Number of degrees obtained by underrepresented minorities alone is not a good measure of success. You have to have the distribution has to be uniform across all levels. Don't just count degrees. Okay, the recent replacement of underrepresentation with diversity. True diversity doesn't come from abroad. I had an op-ed article in the Chronicle of Higher Education. Today's universities are very diverse in terms of faculty and graduate students. They come from everywhere. However, a representation of members from underrepresented groups is non-existent. How can I compete with Alberto Calderon from Argentina, aristocrat who was educated, and I came out of the barrios of Los Angeles? Yeah, we both have Spanish names and we both speak Spanish, but faculty hiring? Oh, in the name of diversity, we hired this Argentine, okay? The most problematic transition point for underrepresented minorities at research universities is faculty hiring, Tier 1 schools. Ask how many minorities are in math departments or STEM departments at Tier 1 schools. Underrepresented minority hiring at research math department. Our extra dimensions are not valued at hiring. They're not even frosting on the cake. They are the box that the cake came in, and you throw it away, okay? Yet they're needed. The things that we give, the things that I give, every university in the country needs the things that I give, but they wouldn't hire me. What can we do? All university administrators make the politically correct statements. They make politically correct statements with respect to the university's mission concerning diversity. I was on this board. I listened to presidents, and they said the same thing, okay? But what is said is rarely reflected at the level of the STEM departments. Good departments should be rewarded. I can tell you the good departments at Rice and STEM. Good, bad, awful, awful, good, okay? We must encourage the administration to practice departmental accountability. this is the bottom line now, okay? NSF can and should play a strong role here. Department should be the unit of accountability. Good department, not the faculty. Every faculty should not be the same. You don't want everybody to be Richard Tapia. You don't want everybody to be Ray Bowen, do you? Okay, so you say, how about a department? The department should be the unit of accountability. NSF can play a strong role here. To my students, your credentials precede you. They promote credibility and open doors. Tapia can't be a total turkey, okay? I gave the Martin Luther King talk at MIT. When I got through, were they happy? Maybe. Then I went to Michigan, then at Caltech. So be a professional who happens to be a minority, not a professional minority. We serve as role models in two capacities. I, minority youth, and majority colleagues. I'm a role model for them. But when I was on the National Science Board, I hoped I served the role model to show that excellence comes in all flavors. See? So to minorities, I show you can do it. Si se puede. To majorities, excellence comes in all flavors. And all genders, of course. Okay? The guiding theme in my life, I was never the best. Maybe in community college. A product of a weak high school to community college. And there the math professors made me feel that I was the best. Oh, and in high school I was the best math person, okay, than in community college. But not at UCLA. So I've never grew up saying I have to be the best, okay? I'm good enough. Here's what I've learned in my life. If you sit on the porch with the big dogs and occasionally bark like a big dog, the world will view you as a big dog, okay? And that's what I did on the National Science Board. That's it.